what the Patriots did or what they have done in the last 24 hours.
They're not dogs
continuing
anymore.
to do. Yeah, I mean, tight end, Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. 2 weeks ago, we sat right here and thought both those teams maybe should keep them because they were so valuable.
Yeah.
Who would have thought they'd both end up in the Patriots? 2 wide receivers in Aguilar and Bourne. Edge rusher, Matthew Judon. I mean, they went nuts.
Killed it. I mean, I don't think you can sit here through the first, what are we at now? Not even a full 24 hours? They've won free agency to this point.
And this is a team that normally, maybe they sign one every couple, 3 years, but this is an aberration.
Yeah, well, it is. It was the first year in 20 years that they've had to actually rebuild their team. So let's not forget about that. It's a conversation I had with Florio a little bit this morning where he says, we never see this, right? We've never seen them come off a 7-9 season in a long time. Right? It's the first time they have legitimate holes on their roster and there's some rebuilding to do. Okay? Here, this is the first thing I want to hit off. We're going to talk about the Patriots.
Yes.
It starts with the fact that they signed a quarterback named Cam Newton on this weekend. Mm-hmm. And what I don't understand is just the crap fest on Cam Newton.
But why? I mean, they 7-9, as you brought it up.
Right.
There were a number of games where not only did they not win, they couldn't put together a scoring drive.
Right. I understand that, and I know it wasn't his best, but they were also 7-9, like we said, and there's a few games in there where you go, it's coming down to the end, and they're going to win the game. And, yes, okay, maybe he fumbled. We've talked about the Kansas City game.
Right.
The Denver game, the first game back from COVID. Those, to me, were flukish wins. Flukish losses, I would almost say. And there's even another close game. The Seattle Seahawks game. They're on the 1-inch yard line going into score in week 2. So they're this close from going 10-6 and being a totally different team. I know it wasn't perfect with Cam Newton. Now, I would love to take the temperature now of everybody in New England and go, well, how do you feel with this team around Cam Newton? Because first off, this offense fits him. But here's just the aspect I don't like with the Cam Newton conversation.
Yeah.
I understand the throwing wasn't perfect. I get that. I've still seen enough years of really, really good throwing to where I'm not going to just go, he had, a few bad games throwing the football in a really odd year on a new team with no offseason. I'm not going to go, I'm going to wipe away 9 good years of throwing because I saw those 2 or 3. I understand it's not perfect. But here's what bothers me more than that, too. Because all I see is his stats.
Right.
8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Well, you. Sorry, and that would be my last swear.
It is rare. It is rare to see more touchdowns.
I don't care, but that's not part of his game. So why doesn't anybody talk about the 12 touchdown rushes he gave the football team and the almost 600 yards rushing? Let's add that. Now it's 20 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Not really that bad when you talk about it that way. Plus, even with these signings that I'm going to get into here in a second and all that, it's not going to be about great passing stats.
Right.
He could have an amazing year next year, and he's going to be – it could be 17 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And we can go, he had a hell of a year. And then they'll win, and then he'll have the rushing touchdowns, and everybody will talk about it that year. Where they'll go, and he had 14 rushing touchdowns, so really he had 31. But if it's a year you're going to crap on him, we're not going to bring that part up. And that's what I don't like about it. Now, getting back to the free agency,
hold on.
They killed it.
I want to stay with Cam.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And we'll definitely get to the free agency part of it. But a couple of good questions here from Twitter. @David Poping. Is Cam really the answer in New England, or is he just a stopgap for one of your top 6 quarterbacks in the class?
Well, I think now, all right, so here, that's a very good question. One, in my heart of hearts, do I think New England really wanted Jimmy Garoppolo back? Yes, in my heart of hearts, I do.
Still could happen?
I don't think so anymore.
Okay.
I don't. I think that ship has sailed. I don't think New England's the type of team that's going to bring 2 guys in, divide the locker room, and have this, total polarizing effect on their football team. They're not about that. And, I just, from my time there, things Josh McDaniels used to say to me, I just don't believe that's their belief. So I think that ship sailed and gone. But do I think they really wanted Jimmy G? Yeah, I do. But I also think they're a team that they want to get started on building their team and what their vision is for 2020. So they couldn't sit there and wait for the 49ers to deal and wait, maybe 2-3 more weeks? I don't know how long it's going to take. But either way, the 49ers aren't going to just trade Jimmy G unless they got a quarterback in their hands too. And anybody who's been listening to me over the last month, I've been saying, if I could align the stars and call my shot, oops, there goes Dak Prescott. Good thing he got that contract.
Good thing he just got paid.
He's got security there. But I always thought there'd be a good chance the Jets draft Zach Wilson. Sam Darnold's on the trade block. The 49ers take that. Belichick and Shanahan are close. And Shanahan will call Belichick and be like, hey, I'm going to get Sam Darnold. Do you want Jimmy G? And something would go down that way. But I don't think New England was willing to wait. So that's why they had to do it. Better options out there? I don't know if there really is better options out there. And you got to take into account the way their team is built to go along with that. And they are built through the run. They have a special offensive line. Arguably a top 5. I mean, it's definitely one of the best run blocking O-lines in football. Overall, it's probably in the top 5 conversation. So, yes, I don't think there was the options out there that they really liked. I think Cam Newton kind of fit what they want to do as a complete offense and football team that way. They want to play defense. They're going to run the ball. And Cam, of course, affects the run game and all of that. And I think they feel probably the same way what I'm saying, to go, that was the worst possible year he could have throwing the football. We think that he can still be better than that. Now, to the quarterback thing with this year's draft, what this does do is and I don't think New England takes a quarterback in the first half of the first round.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be that.
Second round.
But I do wonder second round. And maybe if they'll even go the running quarterback route a little bit. And that's where I get into the, again, I would be one. I would not draft Trey Lance in the first round. I love some of his skills. There's no way I'm going to draft him, a guy that raw who hasn't played that much football or thrown that many passes in the first round.
But somebody will.
Maybe, I think. To me, I'm still going to see the guy. I still think as it goes here, he'll be the guy that falls to the second.
Really?
I really do. I do. And I probably think that with my guy from Texas A&M, but for the opposite reasons. There's not enough hype there for the first round. But maybe what I'm basically getting back to is I guess I feel like that might open the door for them to draft that kind of guy in the second round. Kind of a dual threat guy. Hey, we don't need you to come in here and tear people up in the passing game right off the bat because we have this running game and we can take advantage of your running ability and do those type of things. Just interesting, something to watch out for, something that certainly has crossed my mind. We'll see Jarrett Stidham. From all indications, we'll see. I don't know where that goes. He might be the backup. I wouldn't be shocked if he's not on the team there.
Yeah.
The way he fell by the wayside
a lot
there.
changed in a year there.
Well, if he fell by the wayside. And I think really what's disheartening is they didn't like what they saw on the field, which I can't blame them. When he came in mop-up duty, it wasn't real impressive last year. And then the last thing, too, is it just seemed like Cam went in there and just was like, oh, no, screw you, it's my job. And there was not even a competition.
Right.
And that is not going to sit well with people. They're going to be like, damn, you just going to lay down?
Yeah.
That's not the New England way. So we'll see. But either way, that's just my Cam Newton thought there a little bit.
Getting us into the free agency and what they've done this last day.
Yeah, let's do it.
So many big names, so many different positions addressed. Let's start here. Of all the guys they signed, or they're going to sign, your favorite move is?
Well, it's probably the Jonnu Smith.
Okay.
I think so. He excites me a lot. And for what he can do to that offense, he's multiple. The thing about the Patriots and everything here is, everybody's multiple.
Yeah.
Now, and you might go, well, who cares? What about multiple? Well, for New England, it's real. There's other teams where I want to go, well, you got a player that's multiple. But you don't do multiplicity. You guys just put that guy in that spot all the time. For New England, it is really real. We've always talked about the different game plans from week to week and all that. Jonnu Smith can be a slot receiver, a tight end, a second tight end, an H-back, a fullback. He can do everything. So you can move him around and never really have the matchup of personnel on defense versus that offense that you might not like.
Don't you have to look at it, too, or examine it with Hunter Henry now, too?
Well, definitely. And he's similar that way, too. Oh, here's a tight end in the traditional spot with Jonnu Smith. Hey, here the next play. They're split out at wide receiver. And now, we kept in our extra linebackers because we thought they were going to run the ball, and now you're mix-matched again, too. So that plays into it. Let alone, you got a guy like Cam Newton, the quarterback, and you're going to be able to do all these cool things off the run game and the fakes and the quarterback run game. They're going to put people in big-time binds there. New England is about versatility. One, yes, because they have versatile game plans week to week. Oh, this week we got to kind of do a 3-4. This week we got to kind of do a 4-3. 3. This week we need 2 tight ends and we're going to run the ball. We think that's the weakness of this defense. Oh, next week, well, we got to spread it out a little bit. This team we're playing this week does stop the run, but they're weak in the secondary. So that's the way they play, let alone at positions like tight end and some of these other positions you see. They're not going to just let one injury ruin the team to where they go, no, we can't play that set anymore. So now they have a lot. They have these 2 guys, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, who are special. And then they have 2 young guys in Dalton Keene and Asiasi, who's really talented, who can kind of be the backups and continue to still learn to be pros and go that way. But they don't have to depend on them to be studs right now. And I think that's where Belichick really likes the value of those 2 tight ends, too.
Which passing game tandem in the free agent signing do you think will help the most? Smith and Henry, or out wide, or slot and wide, Aguilar and Bourne?
They got the under-the-radar gems at receiver. Again, it goes into New England. Which one am I more excited about? Probably the tight ends, but not by a whole lot.
Okay.
You heard, I guarantee Kyle Shanahan's hurt that Bourne's gone. They wanted to keep Bourne.
Bringing me to this question,
Right.
at Philippe C. Bourne, they
Right.
signed the Niners' number 4 receiver. How does that help?
Yeah, it's not the number 4 receiver. He's the number 2 receiver, the number 3 receiver. That's what he's been. Mm-hmm. He's not the number 4. Who's 4? It's Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and Kendrick Bourne. George Kittle's a tight end, if that's what we're talking about there. But no, he was a legit number 2 receiver and a really good number 3, out of this world number 3. So I promise you, Kyle Shanahan's disappointed. They made and said they wanted him back. He even made comments last week in the media that I want to come back here, but I just want to see what's out there in free agency. With him and Aguilar, first off, they have big playability. Bourne and Aguilar can go 70 yards over the top. And then they're very good route runners off of that. So now, we don't need the deep passes this week. We want to run, jerk routes or fake the crossing route and come back out, or a post corner versus cover 2 where we need you to make 3 different cuts and flatten it out. They could do all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's going to be great too. And you won't be able to pin them to one position. They both can play X and be like, hey, we're on the line of scrimmage, we got size, and we can get off and beat you deep just with our pure talent. But they could also play Z and the slot receiver and do the more intricate route running stuff too. So there again, you have versatility and mismatch. So you put those 2 guys on the field with those 2 tight ends, there's so many things they can do. And so what did New England fans want? The thing I see on social media is all about Kenny Golladay. Oh, so you want to pay basically all the money to Kenny Golladay.
You'd rather have these 2 than that one.
Yes, a guy that's, was hurt all last year, and now we're going to pay him $18 million a year. New England's not going to do that. They're not. Let alone they're not looking at themselves and being like, we need to be the most high-octane pass offense in football. They want guys that can do the dirty work and then can take advantage of what's there to be had within their system. And that's where Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne are really damn good.
At JK Takes would like to know, is this still a bottom 3rd wide receiver core?
I don't think so. I'd have to look at it as a total there right now. But
upgrade from bottom to middle, maybe?
Yeah, probably in the middle-ish. But, it has potential to be better than that. Mm-hmm. It really does. John Gruden, he loves Aguilar. I guarantee that was another one.
He had a good year. Yeah.
New England was smart here. They looked at guys and they said, wait, we have a lot of money. The 49ers and Raiders don't have a ton of money. They have a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
What's the price we can kind of bid both of these teams out of it for?
Yeah.
Where they just go, damn, that's a little too much for us. We got a few other things we need to worry about on our team right now. And that's the New England way. I thought they were brilliant moves. I really did.
So thinking of wide receiver, at Charlie Roseman says now, spinning it forward, do the Pats still need to address receiver in the draft?
There's no pressure there. Now there's no more pressure on the N'Keal Harry thing.
Would it be a mistake to spend a top 3 pick on a receiver?
I don't imagine them doing that. Mm-hmm. I think Damiere Byrd's still pretty good. And he might be a free agent. I got to look that up actually. In fact, I think he might be a free agent, isn't he, Pete? But and then there's the Julian Edelman factor. We'll see. I know we got a knee issue. We're not sure if he'll ever be back or totally normal the same or whatever that may be. But I think as a whole, yeah, I look at those 2 receivers, and again, yeah, they're not going to be sexy, but it's really damn good. And New England, again, it doesn't need to be superstar receivers. For the same reason everyone goes, well, Brady never had superstars. Yes, because they're always open. As long as they have a little talent, they're open. The numbers would tell you that Brady threw to more open receivers in the history of football than anybody. So why would they have to go out and spend for big-time receivers when they know they can get real good receivers open all the time? And I think that's their approach they take there.
You've said here a couple times that the Patriots don't need to have an explosive big-time passing game to win with the way they want to play.
Right.
I know you tweeted yesterday they still need an explosive running back. Ty Christensen tweets and asks, so are you not a fan of Damian Harris?
I am a fan of Damian Harris. I like him, but he's not like a definitive number 1 game-breaking running back. Again, we're talking about a guy who ran high 4.5s, that's 213 pounds, and, had, 500 yards or 600 yards rushing, but damn, we're just going to, he's the guy. Oh, he's superstar. No, it's the NFL. The Patriots are going to be built around the run game. James White's a free agent. Rex Burkhead's a free agent and tore his ACL. Sony Michel has never been healthy since he got there. Yes, they need another guy. If your team is going to be about running and tight ends, going back to that again, you need more than one of those kind of guys. So, yes, the 49ers don't just get one running back and go, we're good. We're just going to roll the dice that he stays healthy all year.
Right.
Or the 49ers, or the Saints. The teams that are like that, the Minnesota Vikings, they all have a really good number 2.
And the Buccaneers, Pete, did you just tell me that they're talking to James White?
So there you go. They're going to look at a James White. Yeah, I feel like if they were going to sign James White, that would already happen. So he's probably priced himself out a little bit that way, and they're going to go a different route. But, again, don't always just look at the stats either. It's about what's there to be had. And I like Damian Harris, but he's not like a game breaker. Yeah, I'd like to see them get one other guy involved there. And you have a different style in how you can approach. Here's a sledgehammer who's going to, you got to put on your big boy pads. And, yeah, he can break out the pack and get 20 and 30-yard runs. But I would like to see them bring in a little bit of a slasher, a big play guy to go along with it, especially if you're going to run that Cam Newton shotgun, fake speed sweeps, and do all that type of stuff too.
A lot of positive reaction, and I think their signings warrant it to what the Patriots have done. I know with the number of players they signed that it can't be all positive, so let's kind of put a cap on the Pats here by pointing out what might be your least favorite move or one of the signings they went with where you were like, I don't know about that.
There's not one.
Not one?
There's not. I mean, even, Devon Godshaw.
Yeah.
He's anybody that's listened to my Bleacher Report podcast back in the day. He's a killer inside. He is perfect. So he's got the Brian Flores, I know what to expect in this defense anyways, yet they need size up front. How many times last year did we talk about on the podcast that, oh, man, the Patriots are playing a running team? They're going to have to load the box. They're going to have to put a lot of pressure on their secondary because they have no interior D linemen or no special outside linebackers. So you got Godshaw, who's a double team eater. He could be a 3-4-2 gap guy. You got Matt Judon.
You like that investment?
I love that investment.
That was a big ticket item there, Matthew Judon.
And again, it won't be about 12 and 13 sacks a year. It's going to be a lot of 7 and 8 and 9 sacks a year, but it's also going to be phenomenal in the run game and multiplicity. It's going to be, 3-4 outside linebacker. 4-3 defensive end. You're strong enough on third down. We'll line you up over the guard here. Stand up and see if you can beat him with your speed. You have enough strength to hang in there with him, too. He's got so many different things he can do. I love Jalen Mills, a scrappy nickel corner. He's going to be perfect for their football team. Henry Anderson. Then not a lot of money, but it's along what it's a guy that's like, when he's healthy, he does pretty good, and he can do a lot of things on, the defensive side of the ball.
Sounds like your guy Josh Allen's in trouble in that division now.
It's not going to be they closed the gap. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. And again, they were 7-9 and real close last year. So I can't really say a lot of negative. I as a football guy, really liked what the Patriots did yesterday.
Pleasant surprise to see them get out there and do that, wasn't it?
It really was. Yeah. It's rare. It's very
Good
rare.
News day.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.